Welcome, everybody, to Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall. This is the SCSRA Blue Ridge Auto Group Truck Series here on iRacing. We're here at Kansas Speedway in our final race of the round of 8 to see who else is going to lock themselves into our championship race next week at Phoenix. Right now, you can see that red bar across Eddie Morris's name. He's the only driver so far locked in to the championship 4. We'll see what other 3 drivers will be able to move on here tonight. Let's take a look at those points here. I don't have that nice grid, but we do have the actual points, so we want to see those because you can see just how close the points are right now. Only 20 points separate last place to second place. So a lot can happen here tonight. We could see some big movement all the way around the field. Tyler Aspinall sitting back in second. Nick Fuller, Joe Wright, your top 4 currently in, but on the bubble is only 1 point separate Joe Wright and Devin Butchino. You see Daniel Wiles back there in 6th. Brandon Zimmerman and Ryan Gomes also trying to lock themselves in. Gomes really just needs a win here tonight. Win and in for Gomes and Zimmerman. We know Daniel Wiles has been fast. He's currently the fastest on the leaderboard as we take a look at that leaderboard right now, and Daniel Wiles still out there making some laps, looking down underneath Brian Worrell Jr. in practice, as we got about 2 minutes left here in practice at Kansas Speedway. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, over on Kick. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow and subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Eddie Moore is currently the 2nd fastest truck on the racetrack. Again, he's already locked in to next week. Brian Worrell Jr. currently 10th fastest, just running some laps, trying to play spoiler here tonight. A couple drivers trying to play spoiler, including rookie Riley Gomes trying to help his brother get in here tonight with some help. Another driver not really looking for any help here tonight. That's Nick Fuller, just looking to have a solid points night here, and he'll be moving on to the final championship 4. But who's it going to be between the final 7 drivers looking to lock themselves in here tonight at Kansas? Kansas, your typical D-shaped cookie cutter type racetrack. Just over 1.5 miles. That track temperature, though, 123 degrees. That is making this track incredibly slick. This is the newer racing surface, so it does have a little bit of grip out there, but as the race goes on, especially with this new asphalt model that iRacing has released, the track will start to slick up incredibly quick, and we should watch drivers trying to find different lines around the track. We know that Kansas, you typically kind of want to run that middle of the track, although we see Fuller going all the way down to the white line. That high lane, though, is in play, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple drivers ripping the high side here tonight as well. So anything can happen here tonight at Kansas, as we have about 5 seconds before qualifying gets underway. See Cheeseburger in the chat yelling woo, getting ready. And qualifying is getting underway here tonight at Kansas. Let's see who our first driver is that's going to make their way out onto the racetrack. It looks like it will be the 17 Daniel Wiles sitting on the end of pit road. And we saw a couple weeks ago, we noticed that drivers found that the cloud cover can make a difference. So I wonder if any drivers are out there looking up at the sky, trying to see what the cloud cover might be to see if they can get themselves a flyer lap. And that's exactly what we're seeing Daniel Wiles doing right now, just hanging out at the end of pit road and hoping for maybe a little bit of cloud cover. You take a look there at the sky, and you see there are clouds in the sky. So we'll see if anybody does kind of stick around and see if one of those clouds covers the racetrack to give the track a little bit more speed. Same thing, Devin Butchino sitting at the end of pit road, Tyler Aspinall as well. So I think this is what these drivers doing. With 10 minutes of qualifying That could be a strategy that you may want to employ. Just trying to see if we can catch one of those clouds. I know it sounds silly to talk about clouds on sim racing, but it does make a difference. We see that track temperature really come down once the cloud cover hits. And right now you see that track temperature is 126 degrees, just dropped down to 125. So some of these drivers do have telemetry where they can see what the track temperature is. And if the track temperature starts to cool down, we might see a bunch of drivers just hit pit road all at once. Oh, well, we got a few minutes. Nobody's out there qualifying. We want to thank everybody again for joining us here tonight. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick, we do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Of course, we want to thank our great partners here on Intensity, including Race EPI for all your iRacing setups and coaching needs. Visit raceepi.com. Also, check out our website and help support our channel by visiting intensitybroadcasting.com for hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, as well as some Ali Atman Weiss's gear as well. You can find his swag over on intensitybroadcasting.com as well. And of course, our great partner over at Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is a well-known and established leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. Check out the full line of Butt Kicker products. If yours one's right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. We do have a couple of trucks out on the racetrack right now. We see the 9 of Riley Gomes out there turning some laps. Let's get that Butt Kicker logo off the screen. Also, Ryan Gomes out there turning some laps as well. We'll put that weather back on the left side of the screen so we can see what the track temperature is looking like right now. And it's back up to 126. So again, a couple drivers I'm sure are just waiting till the very last moment. Again, it only takes a couple moments to get out on the racetrack with basically 30-second laps. They only need about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunch of drivers heading out there with close to 2 minutes left, just trying to see if they can catch a cloud or catch the weather just right. Like Lauren says, yeah, we saw it firsthand. So there we go. We see Riley Gomes currently fastest, Ryan Gomes currently second fastest, and that's because those two, actually Ryan Gomes just jumped up to the top of the leaderboard as the only two drivers out there to turn a lap so far. Again, Eddie Morris sitting on the end of pit road, Daniel Wiles, Devin Butchino, Tyler Aspinall, Chuck Balance, all sitting, at the end of pit road, just waiting to get out onto the racetrack. Right now we see the cloud cover not playing in the driver's favors just yet. Don't forget to join Noma TV tomorrow night for the SCSRA Dev Sports Cards Next Gen Series. They move on to Kansas as well for their final race before the Championship 4. You're not going to want to miss that one. That's going to be an exciting one as well. But hopefully we're going to get a real exciting one here tonight, as 7 drivers still trying to qualify for that final race next week at Phoenix. You see that track temperature actually going up now. It's up to 197. 127. Man, if it was 197, these drivers would be in a lot of trouble. But 127, so as the sun starts to bake the track, it's getting warmer, and that's the exact opposite of what these drivers were hoping for here tonight. So we'll be watching, see who actually does make their way out onto the racetrack to try to get a lap in here, as we got about 4 minutes left in qualifying, and not a whole lot of action out on the... Oh, we do have a driver making his way out on the racetrack. There's the 8 of Eddie Morris. And Eddie's going to actually slow down, and I think he's going to stop here on the backstretch. More drivers out on the racetrack. There goes the 17 of Daniel Wiles. David Hartney out on the racetrack. David Wright making his way out there. Tyler Aspinall. So drivers realizing that the cloud cover is not coming. They got to get out there and turn their laps while they can before the track gets even hotter. Daniel Wiles had a rough week last week at Talladega. Looking for some redemption here tonight to move on to the final race. David Hartney going to be the next driver to come across the start-finish line. And he's going to jump up currently into the 3rd position. Tyler Aspinall in 4th. Now David Wright jumps into the 5th spot. And Daniel Wiles jumps up to the top of the leaderboard with a 31.69. Now we're starting to see the rest of the field make their way out onto the racetrack as Tyler Aspinall goes quickest with a 31.61. David Hartney, 31.63. Here comes Nick Fuller down the backstretch. Using that high line through turns 3 and 4. And kind of diamonds the corner, runs it deep, really deep into the corner. Tries to run that truck down the hill, if you will. Let's see where that's going to put him here on his qualifying lap, but it is not going to be quicker. It's actually going to be slower. He's going to wind up 3rd quickest currently. Eddie Morris off of turn number 4, down to the apron, across the stripe. And Morris is going to jump up into the 3rd position. Here's the 24 of Michael Moutre. Right down to the white line and off of turn number 4. He's currently showing 9th quickest. So he comes across the stripe here at. He's going to move up to 6th. Devin Bucchino with his final lap here off of turn number 4. Coming down to the stripe. And Devin is going to jump up to the pole with a 31.60. Now, can anybody beat that? You've got still a couple drivers left to qualify. You've got Brian Merle Jr. coming down the backstretch right now in his final lap. Joe Wright out there on his final lap as well. And still Michael Provolt and Chuck Balance out there left to make laps as well, as here comes Junior down across the stripe. And he's going to jump up the 5th quickest. I don't think Mike Provolt's not going to have enough time to set any laps here as he comes into turn number 3, and the checker flag is going to come out before he even has a chance to get to the stripe. How about that? At the last minute, we have our last second. We have a change at the top of the board. Let's take a look at that starting grid here. And look at that. Up at the front, Joe Wright. 31.061. Flying lap for, I'm sorry, 31.564. Sorry, couldn't see it right there. Going to be your pole sitter with Devin Bucchino sitting back in 2nd, 0.04 of a second back. Tyler Aspinall will roll off 3rd with Dave Hartney from the 4th spot, and then Eddie Morris and Brian Merle Jr. make up row number 3. The 14 of Nick Fuller looking for a good run here tonight to lock himself in. He'll roll off 7th with Daniel Wiles, another one of our playoff drivers, rolling off from the 8th position. Mike Moultrie, our winningest driver of the season, but not in the playoffs, sits back in 9th, and then Dave Wright rolls off from the 10th spot. Ryan Gomes rolls off 11th with Riley Gomes from the 12th position. And then 13th is going to be Michael Provolt in the 95, and Chuck Palance is going to roll off from the 14th position here tonight at Kansas. "14 drivers ready to do battle here tonight. We're going to, please, if you're watching at home, do not click the link that just came across the Facebook. That link is not supported or affiliated with us in any way, shape, or form, so please make sure you're not clicking anything there. As here we go, pace truck getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn off of pit road. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Kansas, and Joe Wright trying to get a good jump there. He's got a push from behind from the 45 of Tyler Aspinall. That's going to get Joe down into turn number 2, out in front of his teammate Devin Butchno. Butch, though, trying to fight off Tyler Aspinall up on that high side. David Hartley trying to give a push there on that high side as well, as they make their way down into turn number 3 for the first time here tonight. Butchino up on the high side, Aspinall down on the bottom. We saw the bottom lane where everybody was qualifying and running in practice. I think we're seeing that high lane right now prevailing as Devin Butchino pulls ahead of Aspinall as they come down the front stretch and towards turn number 2. Eddie Morris sliding up in front of Brian Merle Jr. He's going to try to take over that spot. Now Tyler Aspinall slides right up in front of Morris. Morris looks to the middle. He's going to try to make it 3 wide for a second. Here comes Nick Fuller down on the low side, trying to make something happen down there, as Joe Wright leads lap number 2. And Joe Wright trying to get some bonus points here tonight to try to lock himself into the championship 4. Brian Merrill Jr. has a mirror full of the 24 of Mike Moultrie as they come down the backstretch. Tyler Aspinall down, that's Nick Fuller down on the low side. Tyler Aspinall up front here trying to work around the bottom of David Hartney, but just not close enough to make anything happen. Eddie Morris running that high side, and that's been working for him right now. He almost had some 3 wide racing a little bit further back, as we saw the 17 of Daniel Wiles trying to get his way through the field right now. Wiles lost 2 positions on the start. He's working his way underneath the 9 of Riley Gomes. Try to get himself a couple positions back, get some stage points here, try to help him lock himself into that final 4 next week at Phoenix. Eddie Morris, Tyler Aspinall side by side. Morris in the high lane, Aspinall down on the low side. And Eddie's going to slide in front of the 45 machine and up into the 4th position. Now Eddie already locked in to the race next week at Phoenix, but could he go 2 in a row and try to spoil and try to take positions away from some of these other drivers who are in a must-win situation towards the back? We saw Tyler Aspinall sweep 1 round already. Could Eddie Morris do the same here tonight? Meanwhile, Nick Fuller falling back a little bit. He's falling back to the 9th position behind Brian Merle Jr. Daniel Wiles back here as well. Wiles was fastest in practice. Now we're seeing him struggle a little bit in race trim. See Wiles running back here, trying to look up to the high side. Now he's going to tuck back in the line behind Nick Fuller. It doesn't look like it would do much, but the draft here does come into play quite a bit. So you see Mike Moultrie trying to move up into the 5th spot around Tyler Aspinall. He's going to take that spot away. And make his way towards the 8 of Eddie Morris. But here's Aspinall trying to look back down underneath the 24. And right behind him, we see Riley Gomes trying to make his way into the mix here as well. In the chat, Jared Wright says, let's go Devin Butchino. Devin currently running back in that 2nd position as the 3 neon trucks right here start to form a little train down the straightaways to try to pull ahead pull away from the rest of the field. Eddie Morris, another one of the neon drivers, currently sits in 4th. So neon running 1, 2, 3, 4. And the final neon driver, Dave Wright, runs back in the 11th position. Tyler Aspinall, Nick Fuller, teammates nose to tail as they come across the stripe. The start lap number 10. So just 100 laps to go here at Kansas as the laps are quickly clicking away. Again, next week we move to Phoenix and that will be our championship race. Tonight we're trying to decide who those final 4 drivers will be. Well, 3, because we know Eddie Morris is locked in. As Tyler Aspinall takes a look down to the inside of Riley Gomes. And at the same time, Mike Moultrie is taking a look at Eddie Morris. Morris still fighting back hard up on that high side, using that progressive banking to get a great run off the corner, and he's going to stay out in front of Moultrie. Up front, Devin Butchino trying to take the lead away from his teammate, Joseph Wright. He's going to slide up into that top spot. So new leader, 68, but here comes Joe Wright back to the inside, trying to make it exciting. Trying to take that lead back away, but here comes Butchino with a run on the high side. As they make their way back down to the tri-oval, and Devin Butchino is going to lead this lap. Again, progressive banking here at Kansas Speedway. Bottom of the track, it's banked at 17 degrees. Up near the wall, it's 20 degrees. So having that little bit of extra banking up at the high side will give you that good run off the corner. Straightaways banked at 9 to 11 degrees. Backstretch banked at 5 degrees. So a little bit of banking on the backstretch as well. Makes it a bit of a self-cleaning track as Dave Hartney now under attack from his teammate Eddie Morris. And Joseph Wright starting to fade right now as Hartney's going to take a look up to the high side. And you see Moultrie, Gomes, that's Riley Gomes, and Daniel Wiles making their way here as Hartney's going to try to make it 3 wide. You see Moultrie on the bottom, Hartney up top, Joe Wright, the meat of the sandwich as they come down the backstretch. Ooh, almost some contact there between Joe Wright and Moultrie. And Moultrie's going to hang right there on the door. Joe Wright's going to come down. A little bit of contact there between those two. Those two have been racing each other extremely hard all season long. And you see Moultrie kind of hanging off the door there of that 82. So you go down into turn number 1. Both drivers kind of running each other tight here off of turn 2. Joe Wright's going to hold on to that 3rd position for now. As now see Eddie Morris going to shove to the 24 down into turn number 3. Jared Wright says if you ain't first, you're last. As Joe Wright just got really loose there off of turn number 4. That's going to allow Moultrie to get the run down to the inside. You see him down on the apron. Joe going to come down, try to side draft them there down the straightaway. Ooh, and Eddie Morris just barely caught the wall a little bit. Doesn't look like it did any damage to that 8. But definitely slowed his momentum as here comes Riley Gomes taking a look down underneath Eddie Morris as the battle for third continues between Joe Wright and Mike Moultrie. Joe again clears that 24 machine as they make their way off of turn number 4. Here comes Eddie Morris taking a look back down to the inside of Riley Gomes. And Daniel Wiles is going to make it 3 wide, putting Eddie Morris as the meat of the sandwich. And Eddie's going to wisely back out and put himself back into the 7th spot. Again, he's locked in for next week. This really doesn't matter for him. He just wants kind of out here for bragging rights and maybe trying to steal something from one of the other drivers by sweeping the stage, or sweeping the round of 8. As now Daniel Wiles trying to lose a little side draft on the 9 of Riley Gomes. And here comes Nick Fuller trying to follow Daniel Wiles right through as well. Meanwhile, while that's all going on, Devin Butchino's got himself a nice healthy lead. As you see, there's second place, David Hartney, which is just over a second behind. And Daniel Wiles taking a look back down to the inside of Riley Gomes. Mike Moultrie gets a run on Joe Wright. Ooh, they bang doors coming down the front stretch. Down into turn number 1. And the 24 is going to take that position away. Joe's trying to get the run down the backstretch to cross him over here, trying to take a look down to the inside into turn number 3, but he's not quite close enough to make that happen. And Moultrie just sails off into the corner. And he's going to set his sights on the 43 of David Hartney. Meanwhile, this battle is continuing as Daniel Wiles has now moved up into the 5th position around Riley Gomes. But here comes Riley fighting back on the high side. You see Nick Fuller almost get into it with Eddie Morris there as well. As Fuller's taking a look now to the inside of Gomes. Riley Gomes, that is. And Mike Moultrie has now gotten his way around David Hartney and up into the 2nd position. Right behind Joe right now. He's about to get swallowed up by Daniel Wiles, Riley Gomes, and the pack. Got a little loose there off of turn number 2. Came down across the nose of Wiles, and Wiles is going to move up into the 4th position. Now Eddie Morris going around. Something wrong with Joe Wright. Looks like a couple of drivers coming down onto pit road. They miss pit road. Joe Wright misses pit road. Ryan Gomes and Riley Gomes both make their way onto pit road. Of course, our stage tonight is lap 40. A couple of these drivers coming down pit road tells me that they're not going to be able to make it to the end of the stage on fuel. Oh, caution out on the racetrack. Oh, the 17 of Daniel Wiles has made heavy contact with the outside wall. That's going to bring up our first wreckage rewind of the night. You see Wiles here racing with David Hartney. Ooh, Hartney got loose off the corner, came down. He may have made a little contact with the wall. Came down into the 17, and both the 43 and the 17 hard impact with the outside wall. And I imagine this is going to bring the entire field down pit road. Or people might try to stay out here and try to stretch it as well with nothing to lose. We'll see if the entire field makes their way down pit road here. It looks like they are. So Devin Bucciano leads the field down pit road. And I wonder if we'll see any strategy here. See if any drivers might take 2 tires. Or if everybody takes 4, since we are only 20 laps from the stage. Ooh, Dave Hartney missed this pit road. There's Proval. Eddie Morris down the way. Yeah, quite a few drivers taking just 2 tires. Looks like Mike Moultrie, the first driver to take 4 tires. But that's going to put Eddie Morris out in the lead. And when we come around next time, we'll take a look at those pit stop times. Joe Wright's going to come down at pit road here. And a couple drivers on the tail end of the lead lap. That's Ryan Gomes and Riley Gomes. Take a look at those pit stop times. Just not showing yet. Well, I guess we won't show those. We'll talk about them, though. Eddie Morris with a 9.03. Michael Proval with an 8.55. David Wright with an 8.23. And then Brian Merle Jr. with a 9.58. So those 4 drivers, plus Daniel Wiles back there in 9th. He also just took 2 tires. Again, he was involved in that instance, so trying to get on and off pit road as quickly as he can without losing too much time on pit road. So I have to see if this strategy plays out for these drivers up front. From my experience, 2 tires is not what it used to be. There used to be a time where 2 tires would almost be a death sentence. You just would not be able to drive these trucks or cars more than 10, 15 laps on 2 tires. Now with the new asphalt model, a little bit better tire wear, we're seeing these drivers actually able to stay right up there and run as fast, if not faster, with 2 tires than with no tires. Eddie Morris going to choose the high side, put Michael Proval down on the low side. Dave Wright, Brian Merle Jr. back in row number 2. Like Moultrie, Devin Bucciano back in row 3. They're the first 2 drivers on 4 tires. What else this does is put Devin Bucciano back in the dirtiest air he's been in all night long. So we'll see how that truck handles a little bit further back in the pack. As the field makes their way off of turn number 4. Pace truck gets ready to take that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Eddie Morris going to bring the field down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air, and we are back racing here at Kansas Speedway. A great jump for Eddie Morris down into turn number 1. Almost a half-second jump off the rest of the field as Proval and Brian Merle Jr. struggle a little bit on getting hooked up on those older tires. Dave Wright playing a little bit of a blocker back there. And our first driver on 4 tires, Nick Fuller, taking a look down to the inside. of Mike Moultrie. We got 3 wide. Tyler Aspinall in the middle. Now he's going to be able to slide down to the bottom, and Tyler Aspinall is going to jump up into the 4th position as Devin Butchino on those 4 tires able to move up into the 3rd position. Now he's going to go after Michael Provolt. He's on 2 tires. And right now we're seeing that 4 tires is definitely quicker than 2 tires as they come down the backstretch, and Devin Butchino trying to make a run at Eddie Moore's here when we're going to have just 10 laps left in the stage. And oh, one truck way up high into the wall. That looks like Nick Fuller getting into the outside walls. There are 3 wide back here. Chuck Balance moving forward. Daniel Wiles all the way at the back. Now he does not have a reset left since he had that damage early. So he's trying to play a little cautious here. As Devin Butchino, Tyler Aspinall, and Mike Moultrie run 1, 2, 3. Now Mike Moultrie taking a look down underneath. Tyler Aspinall trying to take over that 2nd position. This is a good learning curve for a lot of these drivers as well, who are learning that 2 tires is not the call. It's not going to be what you need to do. As Tyler Aspinall continues to run in that 2nd position, not able to, or Mike Moultrie not able to get around that 45 machine. Moultrie is going to make the move down to the inside, but here comes Aspinall firing back up on that high side. He's going to stay in the 2nd position while these 2 battle. This is exactly what Devin Butchino wants to see in his mirror. The more these 2 battle with each other, the less Devin Butchino has to worry about it. But still, we have 7 laps to go here in the stage. Butchino trying to get those 10 stage points and that playoff point by winning the stage here, trying to get himself in a better position next week, to get into next week at Phoenix. Like the field's starting to spread out a little bit, trying to be a little bit more cautious as we see Dave Hartney working down to the inside of Michael Provolt, and Riley Gomes and Nick Fuller battling it out here for the 5th position. You see Ryan Gomes up into 4th, having a great stage here. That stage kind of worked out in his favor. So he's going to be able to get some bonus points here, trying to get himself closer to that top 4. But up front, Devin Butchino's lead is starting to shrink as Tyler Aspinall and Mike Moultrie starting to run down that 68 machine. And we have just 5, make it 4 laps left of the stage. Butchino down across the line, just 3 laps to go here in the stage. But he's got a very hungry Mike Moultrie trying to run him down to try to take that stage win away. Not just will that help, not just will that take that stage win away, but that'll take away those points as his teammate Daniel Wiles is trying to lock himself in after being involved in that incident. Wiles trying to do something here. He's currently up in the 10th spot, so he's looking at 1 playoff point. As we come across for lap 38, pits are closed as we are approaching the end of the stage. and Mike Moultrie taking a look down to the inside, trying to take that lead away. Devin Butchino fights back hard on the high side. They're door to door coming down the backstretch. Moultrie down on the inside, going to have that shorter way around. Butchino, though, has that more banking, being that's progressive banking, but that's not going to mean anything here as Mike Moultrie pulls around the 68 of Devin Butchino. One more lap of the stage. What can Butchino do here to try to get back around Moultrie? He's going to dive down to the bottom. They're going to be door to door off of turn number 2. One last time through turns 3 and 4. Devin Butchino fighting with Mike Moultrie off of turn number 4. Moultrie is going to get the run off the corner down to the stripe. And Mike Moultrie, oh, I apologize, we got one more lap. Does Devin Butchino have anything for Moultrie here as we see Tyler Aspinall trying to get down to the inside? As they come off of turn number 4, Mike Moultrie is going to win the stage. Oh, Tyler Aspinall, Devin Butchino make heavy contact. Butch comes across the line in second. And for the caution to come out for the stage. There it is. As Mike Moultrie is going to win the stage. Devin Butchino brings it home in second. Decent amount of contact between him and Tyler Aspinall. Doesn't look like any damage to either machine, though. We'll take a look at the right side of Aspinall's truck. Yeah, that truck looks nice and clean. So, fortunately for them, no damage to either one of them. Again, those watching on the Facebook chat or on Facebook, again, I apologize for those links coming across. Please do not click those links. Those are not affiliated with Intensity Broadcasting at all. I'm trying my best to try to block them as they come through. But please, again, if you're watching, do not click those links that are coming across on the Facebook. So here's your stage winner, Mike Moultrie. Devin Butchino comes home second. Tyler Aspinall back in third. Ryan Gomes in fourth. And Nick Fuller back in fifth. Then Chuck Balance, Riley Gomes, Dave Hartney, Daniel Wiles, and Michael Provolt. So Wiles was able to get 2 stage points out of that. He'll try to move himself closer to the Final Four next week at Phoenix. As we see the field coming down pit road here, and now I wonder if anybody here is going to try taking 2 tires. Well, we see Chuck Balance already down and away. Dave Hartney rolls off pit road second, and Mike Moultrie just barely beats Devin Butchino and Tyler Aspinall off. But let's have a talk here with our stage winner, Mike Moultrie. Mike, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me? Well, let me turn you on here on Discord. But man, great stage for you there. Kind of worked your way through the field. A lot of hard racing out there tonight, and getting the stage win, taking some points away from those drivers, trying to help out your teammate there. Talk about that stage there, and is that what you're trying to do? Try to get as many points as you can to try to help your teammate there?
Yeah, just do what I can to help him. That was a tough break for him, but we still got a long race to go. So, hopefully he can work his way back up, and we can get a good finish for him.
Now, you saw 2 tires was definitely not the call for some of these guys. Is that something that you kind of saw there as well, or you think that might be something if we get a real late race caution here, you might try to sneak one out?
No, I'm taking 4 tires. I don't have nothing to lose, so there's no strategy for me. I'm just going fast as I can every lap.
Well, there you go. Well, good luck here on the final stage, and hopefully we'll talk to you again at the end.
Thanks. Same here.
Have a great night. As your stage winner, Mike Moultrie, is the lights on the pace car still on, or pace truck, excuse me, are still on. We're going to go at least one more lap before we go back green flag racing here from Kansas. So we've already seen that 2 tires is definitely not the strategy to go. I think a lot of drivers learned that at that mid-stage caution. So we'll see how the strategies play out the rest of the race here. As the lights on the pace truck are going to come off, Dave Hartney is going to choose the outside lane, putting Mike Moultrie down at the bottom. Hartney, the only driver out there to take 2 tires. Have to see how this strategy plays out for him, although he was last on pit road right at that first caution. So we'll see if that's able to work out for him here, or if he, like we saw a lot in the first stage there, if he slides right back to the back. It looks like Joseph Wright just coming off of pit road. He's being scored currently 1 lap down. Had that penalty earlier for missing pit road. Went down a lap. He is currently hoping for a caution here to get himself back onto the lead lap and in contention. He is trying to lock himself into the final 4 here. So we'll see what he's able to do here tonight as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Again, David Hartney, your control truck up on the high side as they approach the Geico restart zone. And the green flag is back in the air, and we are back racing here at Kansas. A little bit of wheel spin out of the 43 of David Hartney. As Hartney's he's stuck up on that high side, and he's going to lose a ton of positions as those 2 tires are not hooking up the way that 4 tires are. That's going to put Mike Moultrie back into the lead, with Tyler Aspinall sitting back in second, and Devin Butchinow trying to make a charge here behind the 45 of Tyler Aspinall. Aspinall down to the bottom. Now he's going to look up to the high side. He's going to try to find a way around that 24 of Mike Moultrie. As now Nick Fuller is going to take a look down underneath Devin Butchinow, trying to take over that 3rd spot. So Nick Fuller going to solidly move up into that 3rd spot. And teammates run 2-3 with Devin Butchinow back in 4th. Now Nick Fuller, Tyler Aspinall, they will be moving on to America Racing next season. As we see the 17 of Daniel Wiles trying to make his way back up towards the front here. And taking a look down to the inside of Devin Butchinow. Nick Fuller, Tyler Aspinall side by side. This is a battle for second. As Nick Fuller pulls right around his teammate and up into that 2nd position. Daniel Wiles and Devin Butchno battling it out back here. This is a battle for the 4th position. As now Riley Gomes taking a look up to the high side of Wiles. Yeah, another driver just trying to play spoiler here tonight. As Aspinall slides up in front of Devin Butchno, and Butch jumps back up to the high side. He's got a little bit of a push here from the 9 of Gomes. They come off of turn number 4. Devin Butchno, Tyler Aspinall, door to door, down into turn number 3. Lots of door-to-door racing here tonight at Kansas. This track incredibly racy, even as hot and slick as it is. So you can take a look here at the weather again, and we see that track temperature almost 130 degrees right now. These drivers starting to slip slide around as the tires get hot and greasy. Tyler Aspinall looking back down to the inside of Riley Gomes. Meanwhile, Mike Moultrie has a pretty solid lead right now over Nick Fuller. Ooh, Riley Gomes up into the outside wall right in front of Daniel Wiles and beside Tyler Aspinall. That's going to slow down that 9 machine and give Aspinall a good run down into turn number 3. Wiles going to use that inside line as well. Another driver we haven't really talked about here tonight. But Brian Merle Jr. having a solid run, currently up in the 7th position. And hanging tight right here with our leaders. As Aspinall continues to battle door to door with Riley Gomes. Nick Fuller starting to run that low lane right now, getting a run off of turn number 4. He is slowly catching the 24 of Mike Moultrie. Meanwhile, this battle continues between Tyler Aspinall and Riley Gomes. You see Daniel Wiles right here in the mix as well, trying to move himself into a position to win here tonight and move himself to the Final 4. But also trying to keep himself out of trouble after the early incident. So he's going to take a look down 3 wide to the bottom of Tyler Aspinall. Aspinall's able to drive through the middle there and put himself back in front of Wiles and side by side with Riley Gomes. We've seen all race long, it's been so tough to pass. Driver's able to get right to the door, but just can't move forward from there, as now Tyler Aspinall finally does clear the 9 of Riley Gomes. And here comes Daniel Wiles making a look down to the inside of that 9 machine as well. And you see just how much time you lose running side by side as Tyler Aspinall just starts to drive away from the 17 and the 9 that were right there on his back bumper just a moment ago. Speaking of back bumpers, Nick Fuller continues to try to run down the 24 of Mike Moultrie. So right along here with the 24 machine, you see that 14 gets a good run down into the corner. Trying to do everything he can to try to catch up to that 24 machine. And Nick Fuller wants to win here tonight to lock himself into the round of 4 next week. He wants to be part of that championship battle. here tonight will ensure that he moves on to Phoenix. So Fuller running the high side. I'm sorry, Moultrie running the low side through turns 1 and 2, running the high side in 3 and 4. Nick Fuller, Devin Butchino both running the white line in both corners of the track. Well, I take that back. Everybody moves up to the high side through turns 1 and 2. Moultrie stays up at the high side. Fuller's going to go down to the low side through 3 and 4. Butchino also runs more on the high side, and that's working for Fuller. He's been gaining each and every lap on Moultrie by just a little bit. That time he was about a tenth quicker than Moultrie. He seems to be the only driver using different lines through turns 1 and 2 than through turns 3 and 4. Well, Daniel Wiles kind of forced down to the bottom there as he's trying to get around Tyler Aspinall. As these two continue to go side by side, it's a battle for the 4th position. As Wiles is going to take that spot away. Aspinall going to try to make a move back down to the inside here in turns 3 and 4. He is. But does he have anything for Wiles here off of turn number 4? He does not. And he's going to slide back in line. Meanwhile, Nick Fuller is right there on the back bumper. See just how quickly he's pulling up to the back bumper of Mike Moultrie as they go down into turn number 3. Fuller is there. Moultrie is going to have a little bit of a run here on down the back or front stretch here. Fuller going to slide back to the high side here through turns 1 and 2. Yeah, looks like he's going to run the high side in turns 1 and 2, but is he going to have a good run down to turn number 3 to try to get back around the 24 Moultrie? This time just kind of runs in line with the 24. I think he was trying to give him a little test there. Now Moultrie starting to pull back away from the 14 of Nick Fuller. Meanwhile, Devin Butchino has some competition here as the 17 of Daniel Wiles take a look down to the inside. They're side by side. It's a battle for the 3rd position. And Wiles just not able to get to the inside here as he's going to tuck back in line. Meanwhile, a little further back, Eddie Morris, Brian Merle Jr. battling it out. Jr. looking down to the inside. Morris trying to get around Riley Gomes at the same time. They're going to make it 3 wide as Morris slides right there in front of Jr. And Morris and Gomes are door to door down into turn number 1. And Eddie Morris locked into next week already. He does not have to do anything here to move on to the championship 4. He could park it right now if he wanted to, but he's trying to play spoiler. He wants to try to sweep the stage or sweep the round. As Brian Merle Jr. and Riley Gomes go door to door, Michael Polholt right there as well. Meanwhile, back up front, Mike Moultrie has a mirror full of Nick Fuller again as Fuller's right back on the back bumper. Ooh, issues for Chuck Balance, who just went off-roading here a moment ago. Next time by, we'll have just 40 laps to go. Let's take a look, see what happened to the 41 here. Oh, just caught the outside wall. Gets that truck right down through John Deere country, but able to hang on to it and fortunately not bring out the caution. As that 24, Mike Moultrie continues to hold off Nick Fuller in the 14. Another great battle back here between Devin Bucciano and the 17 of Daniel Wiles. So battle for the 3rd position. And then quietly sitting back in the 5th position, that is Tyler Aspinall. Trying to get this playoff picture back on the screen for you guys, but for whatever reason it does not want to work for me. You see Devin Bucciano and Tyler Aspinall now side by side. And you see this, this is the playoff picture as they run right now. And Tyler Aspinall, who's currently moving around Devin Bucciano, at this point pretty much locked in to the Final Four unless something crazy was to happen. Same with Nick Fuller running up in 2nd. If there was an end right now, Devin Bucciano would jump ahead of Joseph Wright, and that would be your top 4. Eddie Morris, Tyler Aspinall, Nick Fuller, and and Devin Bucciano. However, don't count out Daniel Wiles either, because Wiles is slowly catching Nick Fuller, for that 2nd position. So quite a bit can still happen here. Daniel Wiles, 2 points behind Devin Bucciano. Right now he is 2 points or 2 positions ahead of Devin Bucciano, which would put them in a dead even tie right now for that final transfer spot. The tiebreaker. Gotta see what the tiebreaker would be. I believe it would go to polls, and that would go to Devin Bucciano with 1 over Daniel Wiles with 0, but we'll have to check back in a little bit later on that. Meanwhile, up front though, Nick Fuller continues to run down Mike Moultrie. He can get to the back bumper, but he cannot get around. Daniel Wiles has turned on the jets last few laps. He is now a 10th quicker than Nick Fuller and Mike Moultrie. And with Devin Butchino falling back right now, if Wiles was to win this one here tonight, that would knock Butchino right out of the championship four. Pit stops taken away. Eddie Morris on pit road. Michael Proval, Brian Merle Jr., Dave Hartney all making their way down on the pit road for their final stop of the race. Nick Fuller coming down on the pit road now, along with Tyler Aspinall and Devin Butchino. We're hearing drivers saving, though, is it sounded like Moultrie might be shutting the truck off coming down into the corners here. As he's going to come down on the pit road. And he's going to bring Daniel Wiles with him. That's going to put David Wright out into the lead here, unless Wright comes down pit road. Looks like he's going to stay out. And is he going to try to run that same strategy that almost won him a race 2 weeks ago? As Tyler Aspinall now makes his way off the pit road. Nick Fuller as well. Dave Wright's going to put everybody a lap down. Now, looks like Dave Wright might be coming down on the pit road this time. No, he's going to pass right by pit road. I take it back. Dave Wright, the only driver left out on the racetrack who has not pit yet. As Tyler Aspinall goes up to the high side. Nick Fuller down to the low side, and Mike Moultrie comes out in front of these drivers. Tyler Aspinall is going to take the lead away. Nick Fuller, Mike Moultrie side by side. These two have been kind of battling it out since the stage started, as Dave Wright now makes his way down onto pit road. We're seeing these two side by side. Tyler Aspinall up into the wall, outside wall. Just brushes it, but that makes him lose his momentum. He's going to throw a big block here on Moultrie. Off of turn number 4, here comes Nick Fuller trying to take the lead away. They're going to go 3 wide for the lead. On lap 83, 3 wide down into turn number 1. Moultrie, the meat of the sandwich, he's going to drive it through turn number 1. Off of turn number 2, he's going to come away with the lead as teammates Tyler Aspinall and Nick Fuller go side by side down the backstretch, trying to figure out who's going to take over that second position. This battle continues up front. His teammates side by side for second place. Nick Fuller down on the bottom. Tyler Aspinall up on the high side. Neither one of them want to give an inch here. Both of them want to win this race to guarantee themselves a spot in the Final Four. Nick Fuller finally clears his teammate, moves himself into the second position. Now he's going to set his sights on Mike Moultrie as we are coming to 25 laps to go when we cross the line next time. Down the backstretch they go. Mike Moultrie with a healthy lead, just over half a second. Nick Fuller doing everything he can to try to run down that 24 machine. And Devin Buchino finds himself back here in trouble. He's got the 55 of Ryan Gomes going by him. Although this battle right here between Devin Buchino and Daniel Wiles, this is a battle for the final playoff spot, for the final championship round. As Devin Buchino goes down to the inside, that's going to put Daniel Wiles up on the high side. As they come off of turn number 4, Wiles is there. They are side by side across the stripe, 24 laps to go. A battle for the final transfer to the Final Four next week at Phoenix. Now Wiles moves around Devin Buchino, and he's going to be, if the race ended right now, he would be your 4th driver into the championship 4. Here comes Devin Buchino, try to force it back down to the inside. Wiles looks down to the inside of Eddie Morris. And Devin Buchino now battling side by side with Riley Gomes. Meanwhile, up front, Mike Moultrie pulling away from Nick Fuller. Tyler Aspinall back in 3rd. And currently Daniel Wiles runs in the 4th position. And oh, Ryan Gomes gets into the outside wall. He's able to hold on to it though. Great save for the driver of the 55. Take a look. Same thing that happened to Chuck Balance there. Made some contact with the outside wall. Mike Provolt makes a great save there as well. That could have brought out the caution, but right now we stay green. Now Devin Buchino moving around his teammate. This is huge because Devin just moved around Eddie. That's going to put him 1 point ahead of Daniel Wiles, and that is the number right now. I'm sure Devin knows where he is and where he's at and what he has to do, and if he can just stay behind Daniel Wiles, he will move on to that championship 4. A little bit of drama coming down here in the closing laps. Side by side, Riley Gomes, Michael Provolt for position. Provolt going to move up into the 7th position. So now Daniel Wiles has a 1 second gap up to Tyler Aspinall in front of him. And if he wants to move on to the championship 4, he's going to have to get around that 45 of Tyler Aspinall. Devin Buchino doing everything he can to try to stay within arm's reach of that 17 of Wiles to guarantee him a spot into the Final Four, as we have less than 20 laps to go. Daniel Wiles is running down the 45 of Tyler Aspinall. And that's a bonus point I was just thinking about as well. Right now, Devin Buchino has not been in an incident. He still has, I believe he still has a 0x, although he did make that heavy contact with Tyler Aspinall earlier. So he might have got a 4x, so this could be a straight up battle for this final spot, transfer spot. We'll have to find out after the race is over. I'll have to get with Devin and try to see if he got a 4x. We know that Wiles had a 4x earlier, and that's why he's sitting here battling with Nick Fuller, trying to get a couple spots ahead of Devin Buchino. As this battle side by side for 3rd place. Meanwhile, up front, Mike Moultrie continues to set the pace. He's got the lap driver of Joe Wright right in front of him. As I mentioned, these two have had a little bit of history all season long. Joe Wright, if you were to ask anybody in the league who Joe Wright reminds them of, they'd say Ryan Newman. He is one of the hardest drivers on the racetrack to pass. As you see, even a lap down, Joe Wright's got to take a look down to the inside to try to get back around that 24 because he wants to race, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to race everybody on the racetrack. Daniel Wiles has gotten around Devin Bucciano, so it's going to be all about those bonus points. That is what is going to determine who moves on to the next race. And finishing a race with a 0x, that is 3 bonus points. So right now, that's what's going to separate Devin Bucciano and Daniel Wiles right now, is if Devin got a 4x earlier in the race with that contact from Tyler Aspinall. If that is the case, then Devin Bucciano is 1 point ahead of Daniel Wiles as they come down the backstretch with 13 laps to go. Or excuse me, right now as they run, because there's a car behind them or between them, that is 2 points right there. So that would put Wiles currently into the final 4, and Devin Bucciano currently out. Eddie Morris is running down his teammate. I mean, he's been a little bit faster. Does he know what the implications are? Is he just going to be comfortable sitting there riding behind Devin Bucciano? Or is he going to just get impatient and go right on by? Of course, they are running down Tyler Aspinall. And this is what Devin Bucciano needs. He needs to get around this 45. And that's exactly what he's doing. And that is going to put him back 1 point ahead. Well, he's not able to get around Aspinall yet, but if he does, that'll put him 1 point ahead of Daniel Wiles as they are coming to 10 laps to go. Meanwhile, back up front, Mike Moultrie still has Joe Wright right there battling with him. And how about this? Daniel Wiles is running down Nick Fuller now. And Fuller is running down Moultrie. So this is going to be a fight right to the end. As Devin Bucciano continues to try to battle around Tyler Aspinall. Oh, I forgot to take into consideration stage points there, but Devin did get a couple more stage points than Daniel Wiles, so that could be a huge benefit as Nick Fuller takes a look down to the inside. Joseph Wright right there on the back bumper. Nick Fuller to the inside, and he is going to get around Joseph Wright. Joe again still a lap down. And here comes Fuller trying to make it happen here. As Daniel Wiles takes a look. Oh, contact between Wiles and Joe Wright. And now Nick Fuller right there on the back bumper of Mike Moultrie. As he goes down into turn number 3. They're side by side for the lead with just 8 laps to go. Nose to tail down through turns 1 and 2. Moultrie with the advantage for the time being, but Daniel Wiles trying to sneak out a win here to lock himself in. We come across the stripe here, we'll have just 6 laps to go. And does Moultrie know what the how close the points are here? Is he going to try? Would he just pull over and let Wiles by to take that win tonight to lock himself into the Final Four and close Devin Butchino out? Top 3 drivers nose to tail under a blanket as they come off of turn number 4. Fuller takes another look down to the inside, just 5 laps to go. Fuller almost there, just not quite close enough to make it happen. Now Wiles going to make a move down to the inside of Fuller, and Moultrie's going to throw a little bit of a block here. Oh, more contact, heavy contact. Wiles down to the inside. He's going to get around Fuller. Here comes Joe Wright looking out to the inside. He's going to get into Fuller as well. They hold on to it. 4 laps to go. Wiles trying to get a run here up on the high side. He's going to get a run here as Moultrie is going to let the 17 right on by. And Daniel Wiles is going to take over the lead here tonight as we are coming to 3 laps to go. And as they run now, your top 4 would be Eddie Morris, Tyler Aspinall, Nick Fuller, and Daniel Wiles. If Wiles can hold on for the victory. Now Fuller gets to Wiles. That's going to change everything. As Moultrie all over the back bumper of Nick Fuller down the backstretch. Fuller's shown some speed, especially in the late runs here. Does he have anything for Daniel Wiles as we are coming to 2 laps to go? Fuller has a run down the backstretch. He's starting to gain a little bit on Wiles. Down into turn number 3. Off of turn number 4, the interval is 0.2 of a second as we have 1.5 miles to go to settle it here tonight at Kansas. As Fuller is there. He is on the back bumper through turns 1 and 2. If Fuller can get the win here, it'll lock Devin Butchino into the race win. Moultrie all over the back bumper of Nick Fuller down into turn number 3. Fuller gives it all down into turn number 3. Off of turn 4, contact. Wiles up into the outside wall. Nick Fuller down to the bottom as they come across stripe. Fuller gets the win. Wiles gets eliminated from the playoffs, I do believe. Moultrie comes home in 3rd. Devin Butchino comes home 4th. I think that's going to just be enough to get Butchino into the top 4. We're going to have to take a look at it at the end. But your winner here tonight, Nick Fuller, comes down on the backstretch. And I don't know if he's going to be able... Oh, he's going to start burning down here on the backstretch. So he tries to get around for the... Oh, Daniel Wiles, Mike Moultrie already disconnected. They are not sticking around for the picture. And see Nick Fuller making his way down to the front stretch here where he's going to do his celebration. While he celebrates, we'll be right back with you while we try to sort this finish out. So as we get ready to get our post-race interviews here, again, Nick Fuller getting the win. Let's take a look at our post-race results. Again, Nick Fuller getting the win here tonight. Daniel Wiles brings it home in second. Mike Moultrie in third. Devin Butchno and Tyler Aspinall round out your top 5. Eddie Morris brings it home 6th. Mike Provolt back in 7th. Ryan Gomes, Riley Gomes, and Brian Merle Jr. your top 10. David Hartney back in 11th. Joe Wright in 12th. David Wright 13th. And Charles Balance rounds out your field tonight in the 14th position. As we get ready to see who makes their way down into the waiting room for post-race interviews here. And I do believe with Nick Fuller getting the win, that does indeed knock Wiles out and puts Devin Butchno as your final driver, moving on to the Final Four next week at Phoenix. Looks like quite a bit of discussions going on here in the Discord channels, and do apologize for the wait. But while we got a moment, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, don't forget to join us and hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Check out our great partners, including Race EPI for all your iRacing coaching and setup needs. IntensityBroadcasting.com. Support our channel over there. Check up some of our swag, SCSRA swag, or even some Ali Atman Weiss' gear over there at IntensityBroadcasting.com. And of course, our great partners over at Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is a well-known and established leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. Check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out what's right for you. Visit thebuttkicker.com. And of course, check out the website there. You can find any movie theaters in your area that use Butt Kicker products as well. Again, we're waiting for any of our top 3 drivers to make their way down to the waiting room here for post-race interviews. So bear with us just a moment more. Let's see if we can get a word with any of our top 3. Well, this is going to make things a little interesting next week at Phoenix, but we got our top 3 making their way into the booth now. Let's start off with our 3rd place finisher, Mike Moultrie. Mike, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me? Man, tough race there at the end, trying to get your teammate in there at the end. kind of caught the wall there at the end and knocked himself out as far as I can see on the points. But still a great battle up front and a hell of a season for you so far. Talk us through that last stage there and what you're trying to do there to either get the win for yourself or help Daniel there. And looking back at it, the strategy you guys had pitting a little bit earlier than everybody else and trying to get something going there, was that kind of the call from the beginning, trying to be the first on pit road to be first off pit road?
So I mean, we just literally ran until it was dry, and hope for the best.
Hey, Josh, started.
Nope, I got it. I fixed it.
There you go.
I apologize. I had you muted there for the first question, but we asked about the trying to get his teammate in. He said he was trying to do everything he can, trying to race his teammate to get himself up there. But man, again, great season for you and Daniel so far here tonight. Again, no, it didn't work out in Daniel's favor, but you know, next week is Phoenix. He's always got a chance to get that final win of the season. Before we let you go, Mike, anyone you want to thank, any shots you got to give here tonight?
Just my teammates, America Racing. Congrats to Nick for getting the win, and we'll all be back next week at Phoenix.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the runner-up, third place position tonight, and good luck next week at Phoenix.
Thanks, appreciate it.
So how's your third place finisher, Mike Moultrie? I don't see Daniel here in the waiting room, so let's bring in your winner here tonight, Nick Fuller. Nick, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, copy.
Man, great win for you here tonight, locking yourself in to the Final Four. Talk us through those last few laps. I know Moultrie was doing everything he could to try to get his teammate in there. Talk us through what you saw there at the end.
Yeah, man, I knew it was coming. I think back to like Harvick at Bristol one year, and I think you're technically allowed to do that. So I was like, I have to just make this work, and obviously I didn't make it work. Moultrie slowed me down while I got ahead. I was a little frustrated in the situation, and honestly, Daniel didn't have to let up. I went and talked to them and said, that was a tough spot for everybody to be in with the whole like teammate situation going on there. But at the end of the day, like I still battled him for 3 laps. I maybe would have had a chance if I would have hit a couple marks on those last couple laps. And then he kind of let up at the end. So, oh yeah, that was a crazy finish. I could see it coming for like 15 laps there. I was just like, I got to figure out a way around this, and there probably really wasn't a way for me to get out of that situation. But yeah, it was a heart pounding moment, a fun race. Hopefully the fans like it, because I think that's some cool drama, not like a boring run out. Something real. Yeah, I haven't been part of that before, so that's crazy.
Well, the strategies you guys had coming in, getting out there, and you seemed like you were the fastest driver as the run went on. You were able to keep your tires on it a little bit longer than everybody else, especially running a little bit different. Everybody kind of ran the high lane through turns 3 and 4. You were running the bottom. Was that just the more grip down there, or were you just trying to make something different happen, run a different line than everybody else?
Well, I ran this race in the past and whatnot, and different sessions. I tried it in the bottom, and I tried it in the beginning, and that bottom was not there. It didn't stick at all, and it actually did come in towards the middle to the end of the race, or if you got your tires right down on the bottom there, it did stick. And I just felt like, since I'm kind of lifting it into the turn and kind of easing it in, that overall I'd be saving more tire. And then it could help me at the end when I'm just having to rip the top line and try to make some like a slide job pass if I needed to.
Well, getting the win. Yeah, I was going to say, getting your win, getting it done, moving yourself to the Final Four, that's got to feel pretty good. So, of course, before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, any shots you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, thanks to Tyler who does my paints for the Octium car. You guys do the broadcast, SCSRA League. Everybody that comes out, pretty dramatic finish. Hope we can all get past it and move on and have a good championship run in season 7 coming up.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the win. Good luck next week at Phoenix. We'll be watching for you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again at the end.
All right, thanks.
Have
Bye.
a good night. So that was your winner here tonight, Nick Fuller, getting the win in dramatic fashion and locking himself into the Final Four. So unofficially, as it looks right now, your top 4 will be Eddie Morris, Nick Fuller, Tyler Aspinall, and Devin Butchnow. If things change, you can always check it out on the SCSRA Facebook page. They do have one of those, and they're going to keep all their news and stats up to date. So check that out. You can check out us as well, as we'll be announcing Thursday night. We've got Thunderstruck coming up. Sunday night, we've got the INSS. Plus, we've got a new season that's going to be starting up in March with the MPI Xfinity Series on Sunday nights. That's going to be starting up on March 3rd. March 5th, I believe it is. We'll have more details for you as the information comes out. We're looking for a schedule to come out soon, but that's going to be coming up in March. We're looking forward to watching that Xfinity Series turn out. And then next week on Tuesday, before our final race, we will have the Doghouse Racing League Shoney's Xfinity Series, as they're switching from trucks to Xfinity next season. So it's going to be an awesome one next week as well. So tune in here on Intensity Broadcasting. Hit that like button, follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a race. And as our boy Atman Weiss would say, over